The Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, CCDI, plenary session that just ended should have been Xi Jinping's main stage for fighting corruption. But instead, his speech was cut in half. He didn't mention any anti-corruption goals, and his subordinates no longer showed loyalty. On the table in front of him, there were only two teacups left, one with water, one with medicine. And the high officials below the stage didn't take notes anymore. They just watched with cold eyes. Then the camera turns to the real focus. Changes happening outside the meeting hall. A mysterious group quietly takes over decision-making. A video that makes Xi Jinping look very silly is kept, but another video that makes Ping Liyuan look great is quickly deleted. When the power to fight corruption is taken away, core decisions are ignored, and the propaganda system starts to not listen. This is no longer just rumors of losing power. It's a real picture that's happening now. Today, we will put these scattered signals together one by one and see why people say that what Xi Jinping really has left might just be those two teacups. This year's CCDI plenary session was very unusual. From January 12th to 14th, the fifth plenary session of the 20th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection of the Communist Party of China was held in Beijing. Normally, this should be ex-Xi Jinping's most important anti-corruption main stage, but the result made many watchers surprised. Xi Jinping's speech was suddenly much shorter. This time, Xi Jinping didn't even give any specific anti-corruption demands to the CCDI. This itself shows a problem. His authority is slipping further. Even the most core and symbolic power to fight corruption is no longer in his hands. Commentator Li Yanming thinks that based on Xinhua News Agency's public reports, Xi Jinping's speech at this year's fifth CCDI plenary session has four big changes compared to the previous fourth and third plenary sessions. The first change is that Xi Jinping's speech content was greatly shortened. This year's opening speech had only 5 parts, about 1290 words. Compare that, last year's fourth plenary session had about 1,690 words in 10 parts. The year before's third plenary session had about 2,240 words in 12 parts. Over 3 years, the word count is almost half less. This isn't a last-minute cut. It's a very clear signal of being downgraded. More key is the second point. This time, Xi Jinping almost didn't give any specific demands for anti-corruption work. He just repeated some old slogans, like, "The situation is still serious and complex. Anti-corruption is a major fight we can't afford to lose and must not lose." But look closely. No goals, no plans, no key lists. This is totally different from the past 2 years. Before, he would name which areas to check strictly, which places or people to watch closely, even details like check political and business links, bribes, and taking bribes together. But this year, none of that. Now look at the third unusual thing, which is more interesting. Xinhua News Agency gave Xi Jinping's speech a subtitle that is exactly the same as CCDI Secretary Li Ji's work report title. This is very rare in the CCP system. What was the old habit? Xi Jinping talks about high-level stuff. Li Ji talks about carrying it out. 2 clear lines. But now, Xi's speech is flattened to match Li Ji. The hidden message is just one thing. Xi Jinping's position is no longer special. The person must follow the central. The fourth point is more direct. When Li Ji hosted the meeting, he didn't say Xi Jinping gave clear demands for anti-corruption work. Note that this sentence always appeared in the past 2 years. At the 2025 fourth CCDI plenary session, when Li Ji hosted, he said Xi Jinping's speech gave clear demands for winning the tough, long, and overall fight against corruption. At the 2024 third CCDI plenary session, Li Ji mentioned Xi Jinping's speech gave 9 practical demands for anti-graft work. But at this fifth CCDI plenary session, Li Ji didn't mention Xi Jinping's demands for anti-corruption work at all. Now it's gone. Many comments think this is sending a very direct signal. Xi Jinping no longer has the right to give anti-corruption orders to the CCDI. The reason is real. The people who fell recently, whether army generals or party and government high officials, are almost all people Xi personally promoted. If he keeps leading anti-corruption, it's not anti-corruption, it's self-cleaning. Let's talk about a picture detail. At this plenary session, Xi Jinping looked clearly thinner and tired, and on his table, there were 2 teacups. One is water or tea, the other is thought to be medicine. And the Politburo members below didn't bow their heads to take notes like before. Many just looked straight at Xi Jinping, with eyes more like watching a routine show. Put these details together, the answer is clear. Xi Jinping's authority is being taken away layer by layer. Now, what he can use to prove he's still there might really just be those two teacups on the table. Okay, back to the show. Let's keep looking at how much power Xi Jinping really has left. The question is, one person's power can't disappear out of thin air. If Xi Jinping is really being stripped of power layer by layer, where did that taken power go? Who is really deciding? Who is working behind? The answer might be linked to a mysterious group that's been rumored. Right at the same time, Xi Jinping's authority is clearly cooling. Inside the CCP, a name quietly appears: Central Decision-Making and Coordination Body. This group was said to have been set up at the end of 2025, but not public, no files, no list, yet it's reported to be replacing the original top decision center and doing daily real work. And more interesting is, outside sayings show that this group's core members are not Xi Jinping's people, but Wen Jiabao, Wang Yang, Lu Yuan. That means Xi Jinping's many being ignored times are not scattered events, but an organized power shift with a replacement. Xi Jinping now just performs on stage and off stage, waits for the official announcement. About this mysterious group, commentator Ordinary Person Inside the Wall recently shared 4 big messages. The first key point is, now the CCP's real work no longer fully depends on the 7 Politburo Standing Committee members, but through a higher central decision-making and coordination body to make daily decisions. This group's power setup is clear inside. Wen Jiabao is seen as the real core person, in charge of overall direction. Since Wen is old, Wang Yang helps and carries out, and his office is even said to be in the Zhongnanhai area that was for the general secretary, which has strong symbol meaning. For army power, it's given to Lu Yuan. He is asked to act as daily work for Central Military Commission Chair, in charge of Army Affairs, Office and Bai Building. In name and real power level, Lu Yuan's position is thought higher than Zhang Yuxia, but key is, he has no political wish to take over or grab power. Current saying is, Lu Yuan is asked by Hu Wen's system and Zhang Yuxia and others to temporarily act as CMC chair's real work, becoming a key stable part in this no personal power setup. Overall, this is not just people changes, but a setup that goes around Xi Jinping and gives out top power again as a transition. The second key signal is Xi Jinping has been kept out of the central decision-making and coordination body. After last year's 4th plenary session ended, Xi Jinping fully left this real working top coordination group, no longer in daily decisions. This change was actually shown quietly through pictures long ago. The clearest clue is hidden in his 2025 and 2026 New Year speeches for 2 years in a row. In the past, the General Secretary's speech background was always a familiar office: bookshelves, files, phone, all there, meaning the center is still in my hands. But in the last 2 years, all gone. Instead, just a gray Great Wall background picture, room empty, no office signs, no power symbols. In CCP political language, the scene is the signal. When a general secretary no longer appears in the general secretary office, it means he is no longer the real person sitting at the desk making decisions. This also proves outside judgments. Xi Jinping is not just losing power, but has been really kept out of the core decision circle. The third signal is Hu Chunhua has been picked inside for the next leader line. Wang Yang is paving the way for Hu Chunhua, hoping to make sure he can smoothly take over power and become the CCP's 6th-generation leader core. But this boot really landing? The time might wait until the CCP's 21st Congress, not now. The fourth signal is, inside the anti-XI group, how to handle the Li Keqiang event has clear differences. The report says Li Keqiang's wife and daughter visited Wen Jiabao and Wang Yang many times, hoping to quickly restart the check on Li Keqiang's sudden death. This ask is said to have support from some high-level people, but at the same time, a heavyweight old leader is against it. His view is, to save Xi Jinping's last face, should wait until Xi really leaves the stage, then handle the problems. But the problem is, Li Keqiang's family doesn't want to wait anymore. So both sides are stuck. The situation is paused at this point. Of course, outside can't check if these messages are real by themselves now. But worth noting is, sayings from different ways are proving each other, making these rumors at least not just from one source alone. Xi Jinping's loss of power is no longer just inside power setup, but starting to spill out, even making him look silly in public, and Peng Liyuan got pulled in too. When a top leader is still in place but has lost real control over the army, propaganda, and public opinion, And what loses control first is often not files, but pictures and messages themselves. Look at China first found that an army background big propaganda account no longer checks for Xi Jinping and made him look very silly big time. And Peng Liyuan meeting South Korea President Lee Jae-myung's wife Kim Hae-kyung video was put up, then quickly deleted by the army. It looks like random, but really very unusual, because this is not just a propaganda mistake, but more like a lost control signal leak. Next, we start from this account with clear army background. On YouTube, there is an account called Chinese Style. This account doesn't hide its source. In the intro, it directly marks the address as number 34, Fuwai Street, Jicheng District, Beijing, National Defense News Spread Center. And this National Defense News Spread Center is under the Central Military Commission Political Work Department, now run by Jiang Shengmin. That means this is not a public account, but one with official, even army nature for outside propaganda. And it's this account that publicly put out a video. The content is the scene that spread wildly overseas before. Xi Jinping in public looks clearly bad, described as thief-style moment. At the same time, the picture fully shows Peng Liyuan fixing clothes details, no holding back. This video quickly caused lots of laughs and shares overseas. But more strange is, this army background account not only didn't delete, but let the video stay for a long time. Clearly, outside is not just watching fun, but has noticed something wrong. And weirder is after. Soon after, this account put out another video about Peng Liyuan, but this time, the video disappeared fast. The background is, not long ago, South Korea President Lee Jae-myung couple visited Beijing. Peng Liyuan met with Lee Jae-myung's wife Kim Hae-kyung. Then, this army account put out a short video of their talk, with big country diplomacy front line mark in the top right. However, this Peng Liyuan video has been quietly deleted now. But that video making Xi Jinping look silly is still there unchanged on the account. One deleted, one kept, one nice, one bad. If this is just a propaganda error, the logic doesn't make sense. And the only reasonable explain is the army propaganda system inside no longer keeps step with Xi Jinping. This is not just a delete or not choice, but a clear signal. Inner fight has spilled to public opinion field. Even the First Lady got pulled in.